What would you do if you heard footsteps in your attic, but you were home alone? Frozen, every muscle screaming to run, but you can't move. You strain your ears. Another slow, deliberate creak above your head. Your heart pounds as you reach for your phone and dial 911. But how do you explain that the emergency might not be human? Tonight we're diving into real 911 calls that blur the line between home invasion and something far more sinister. These are the moments when ordinary people, in the safety of their homes, came face to face with the unexplainable. Turn down the lights and stay until the end for the call that left even seasoned dispatchers speechless. Our first story begins on a quiet suburban street, the kind where everyone knows their neighbors and the loudest sound is usually the chirping of crickets. It's a place where you feel safe, secure, and utterly at peace. But tonight, that peace is shattered for Sarah, who is home alone, and is jolted awake from a deep sleep. It wasn't a nightmare that woke her, but a soft thud downstairs. A sound that doesn't belong. She tries to dismiss it. Maybe it's just her cat Leo, being playful as cats often are. But then, a moment later she hears a distinct shuffling sound, something far heavier than a cat, like someone dragging their feet slowly, deliberately, across the wooden floor. A wave of dread washes over her. Sarah lives alone. She always felt safe here, but now, she remembers checking every door and window before bed, ensuring they were all securely locked. Heart pounding, she stares at the sliver of light beneath her bedroom door and sees a shadow pass. Unnaturally slow, stretching and distorting, then abruptly gone, leaving only darkness. Frozen with panic, she scrambles out of bed and hides in her closet, pulling the door almost shut. Trembling, she grabs her cell phone and calls 911, whispering frantically to the dispatcher, trying to remain calm. She struggles to explain what she saw, the shadow, the sounds, the feeling of being watched. "It's not right," she repeats, her voice barely a whisper, trembling with fear. Something's in the house. The dispatcher, trained to handle these situations, keeps her calm, assuring her that officers are on the way, as quickly as possible. But the silence in the house, amplified by her fear, is suffocating, pressing down on her like a physical weight. Then, a distant sound growing louder, a welcome relief. Sirens finally approach. Police arrive, lights flashing, and immediately sweep the house. Every room, every closet, every possible hiding place. But they find nothing. No signs of forced entry, no footprints, nothing out of place. Leo is curled up, fast asleep on the sofa, oblivious to the drama. The officers are baffled, offering explanations about overactive imaginations, but Sarah knows what she saw, what she felt. The flashing lights fade, the sirens disappear, and the silence after they leave is even more unsettling than the noises before. She's alone again, or so it seems, but she knows deep down that she isn't. Sometimes, the scariest intruders are the ones that leave no physical trace, the ones that invade your mind and leave you questioning reality itself. In the Black Hills National Forest, David, an experienced hiker, rounds a bend and freezes. 50 yards ahead stands a man tall, thin, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, perfectly still, back to the trail. David calls out. No response. The man doesn't move. Unease grows. David circles wide, feeling a cold aura as he passes. When he looks back, the man is gone. No sound, no movement. Shaken, David calls 911, struggling to explain what he saw. The dispatcher listens, promises to send a ranger. David waits at the trailhead, heart racing. Rangers search the area, only David's footprints are found. No sign of anyone else. The ranger admits, strange reports come from these woods. David never hikes that trail alone again. Some encounters in the wild are never meant to be explained, and some figures vanish without a trace. The Miller family, full of hope and excitement, finally found what they believed to be their dream home in the quiet suburbs of Ohio. Little did they know, this charming house would quickly transform into a living nightmare, a place where peace and tranquility would be replaced by fear and unexplained phenomena. It started subtly, almost unnoticeably. Doors creak open, seemingly on their own. Whispers echo from the walls, faint at first, then growing more distinct, more unsettling. And the children, wide-eyed with terror, speak of a shadow man lurking in their closet, a dark figure that watches them from the darkness. As days turned into weeks, the disturbances escalate, the once peaceful home becoming a hotbed of paranormal activity. Violent banging erupts from within the walls, shaking the very foundation of the house. Disembodied voices whisper names and chilling phrases, their origins unknown, their intent malicious, and terrifying nightmares plague the family's sleep, filled with visions of darkness and dread. One night, as the family huddles together in fear, a guttural voice filled with malevolence growls from the shadows, "Get out!" Overcome with terror, Jessica grabs the kids, shielding them from the unseen horror, while Mark, his voice trembling, calls 911, desperately seeking help. The 911 operator, trained to handle any emergency, hears the chaos unfolding on the other end of the line. Banging whispers, terrified sobs, a symphony of terror echoing through the phone, painting a vivid picture of the family's torment. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierces the air, a deafening crash, then an eerie silence descends. The line goes dead, leaving the operator in stunned disbelief. Police arrive to find the family huddled together in a corner, their faces etched with terror, their bodies trembling with fear. The room around them in complete disarray, a scene of utter chaos. No intruder can be found, no signs of forced entry mar the doors or windows. The house is eerily empty, yet filled with an undeniable sense of dread. The Millers, forever scarred by their experience, leave that night, abandoning their dream home, never to return. The 911 recording, filled with unexplained sounds and chilling screams, remains a chilling testament to the horrors they endured, a haunting reminder of the night their lives were forever changed. Sometimes, the scariest things lurking within the walls of a house aren't made of flesh and blood, but something far more sinister, something beyond our understanding. And some families, like the Millers, are left with unanswered questions, forever haunted by the mysteries of what truly happened in that house. Knowing what you now know, would you dare to stay another night within those haunted walls? For dispatcher Frank, nights at the emergency call center were usually a mix of routine calls and the occasional genuine crisis. He was used to handling everything from fender benders to house fires, always keeping a cool head under pressure. But one call, piercing the dead of night, would burrow deep into his mind and haunt him forever, a chilling enigma he couldn't shake. It began with an open line, just faint static crackling through the speaker, the kind that usually meant a dropped call or a faulty connection. Then, cutting through the noise, a child's whisper, barely audible. "Hello?" Frank, instantly alert, gently asks questions, his voice calm and reassuring. "There's someone in my room," the child whispers, voice trembling with fear, each word laced with a palpable terror. Frank, his heart pounding, immediately tries to trace the call, hoping to pinpoint the child's location and send help. He continues to reassure the child, his voice a soothing balm against the rising panic as they begin to cry, soft, heart-wrenching sobs that echoed through the headset. The trace finally pings an address. A location flashes on the screen. Officers are immediately dispatched, sirens wailing as they race towards the location, but on the other end of the line, the only response is quiet sobbing, a sound that chilled Frank to the bone. Then, abruptly, the line goes dead, leaving only silence and a gnawing sense of dread. Police arrive at a boarded-up abandoned house, its darkened windows staring blankly into the night. No lights flickered within, no phone line connected to the dilapidated structure, no sign of life, past or present. They cautiously search every room, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. The house is empty, eerily untouched for years, as if frozen in time. The call was impossible, a phantom echo in the digital age, but Frank can't forget the terrified voice, the desperate plea that still rang in his ears. The case is logged as unfounded, a strange anomaly filed away in the archives, but the mystery lingers, a haunting question mark hanging in the air. Who was the crying child, lost and alone in the darkness? Where did the call come from? A place beyond the realm of the explainable. Some voices on the line, whispers from the unknown, are never meant to be found, destined to remain echoes in the silence. In a crowded apartment complex, a blood-curdling scream shatters the night. Multiple residents call 911, all reporting the same thing, a woman's scream, abruptly cut off. Police rush to the source apartment 4B. They break in, expecting the worst, but the unit is vacant, spotless, and unfurnished. Neighbors insist they heard the scream. The officers are baffled. Then, as they investigate, another scream echoes through the halls, impossible to pinpoint, chilling to the bone. Officers search the building top to bottom, nothing. More calls come in, each reporting the same phantom scream. No victim, no suspect, no evidence, just terrified residents and two officers who heard it themselves. The incident is logged as unexplained. For those who heard it, the scream is unforgettable. Some cries for help leave no trace, and some mysteries echo long after the night is over. From the phantom intruder to the ghostly child's voice, these stories remind us the world is stranger than we imagine. The fear in these 911 calls is real. Ordinary people, extraordinary terror. These recordings force us to question what's real and what's lurking just out of sight. The mystery lingers, like an echo in a silent house, long after the call ends. Which call chilled you the most? Let us know in the comments. And remember, sometimes the scariest stories are true. Subscribe for more real-life horror. Stay safe out there.